Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Software Testing. My name is Daniel Knott and I'm happy that you're here today. It's been a longer time that I recorded a video lately, but life happens, you know how it is, but I'm happy that I can share with you today a really nice product in this video. So, for those of you who have following me on social media, like on LinkedIn for example, a couple of weeks ago I posted an update on LinkedIn where I was talking about the Tricentis test management for Jira. It's a really nice plugin that I found and that I explored a bit a couple of weeks ago, and I shared it with you to get some first ideas that hey, there's a plugin that might be helpful and useful for you to explore. So if you see, this is my LinkedIn post, and this is where I shared some thoughts about it. Now it was like I think a couple of weeks ago that I shared this post. I took some more time and to explore the plugin. I also published a blog post about it with the title Test Management Made Easy on my blog. Make sure to follow the video description down below to find the article and to find everything about the plugin. But as I also said in the blog post, I would like to show you hands-on how the plugin is working. And this is basically this video for today. So I took some time to explore all the features from the test management plugin for Jira from Tricentis. And I would like to show you how to use it and what you can do with it. So let's go ahead and jump right into the hands-on video for today. So, the Tricentis test management for Jira plugin can be found in the Atlassian marketplace. So if you go to also the link in the video description down below, you will find the Tricentis test management for Jira plugin. You can try it out for free. And the good thing is that it's really self-explanatory. So you can browse already through the core features and functionality in the marketplace. But this is boring, right? So we should really jump right into the hands-on material. So what I've done is I installed a Jira, a Cloud Jira product on my own. I just hit the button, try it for free, and set up the plugin. So after you hit the try it for free, you have to do some more things. First, you have to download some icons for the issue types that you can create, for requirements and for test cases. And last but not least, you can just right away and start with it. So let's jump right into my Jira board. So this is it's a testing Jira board. As you can see, there's some empty stories, user stories, some requirements, and also some test cases because, as I said, I played around with the plugin already. So whenever you are in Jira, you can find the test management for Jira in the app section. So down below here where you find my mouse pointer at the moment. If you hit that, you get straight into the plugin. And once the plugin has been loaded, this is basically the overview of it. Yeah. So just to help you out with a bit with the structure of the plugin, it basically contains about or has 4 sections. It's the requirement section, it's the test design section, it's the test execution section, and the reporting section. So, and in this video, we will just go through each of every section, and I will explain you what you can do there, what I think about it, and yeah, so let's do it. So let's start with the requirements. The cool thing is about the requirements issue here is, and whenever you work with product owners or other stakeholders on the product that you're developing, is that sometimes the requirements are written down in, hopefully not in some documents somewhere on a network folder. In best case, they are part of an epic or a user story. And with the Tricentis test management plugin, you can also create a new issue type, which is called requirements. And yeah, so you can define your requirements right from the plugin. However, if you don't like to do it, you can still use your epics or user stories and link your test cases that you created in the test design phase to the user story, of course. But what you can do is with the requirement section, so you can say here, let's create a new requirement. See, it's my testing project. We have the issue type requirement that I initially created. We have the status. We can write a summary. So let's do, yeah, yet another login. Oops. login requirement. Here you can write the acceptance criteria AC1, AC2, AC3. So you see, I'm really creative for today, but just that you get an idea how you can use it. And that's it. You can basically, of course, do more here. You can assign it to somebody. You can select the label, who reported it, like the Jira things, you know, nothing special here. So once you hit the create button, yeah, your requirement has been created. And if you open it here, it says there are no test cases covered yet for this requirement. However, since I used the plugin already, let's jump into this requirements for a second. So I created this requirement, and as you can see, I already associated or like linked existing test cases to it. And this is something that I really like, because you get everything in one hand. So you define your requirements, maybe together with your product owner, with a tech lead, with an architect, and at the same time you can already add your test case ideas in it. It doesn't need to be like really detailed test cases, step 1, step 2, step 3, but rather your testing ideas. So you can note them down really easy and really fast. And this is something how you can do it. You just hit the plus button saying here, create and link a test case, say okay, login failed test with wrong, cannot type, wrong credentials. You hit the create button, and you can see here it's straight linked to the requirement. And I think that is really cool, because you are in the flow. You can just type everything that's in your head. Some people that I know write this down on a piece of paper while they're thinking about requirements, or in an estimation meeting, for example. And yeah, this could be like your collaboration zone together with other people in your team. So let's assume we defined our requirements, and then you already outlined some of your testing ideas that you would like to do, and then you can go into the next phase, which is the test design phase. You can see here there's the requirement that I just created, and also the test case that I just created in the test design phase. So that's the test design phase, where you can just write test case after test case. So you can say let's do another test case here. You see we have the issue type test case. We write yet another test case. We hit the create button, and it should show up here in a second. Yes, there we go. We have yet another test case open, and it's also not a big surprise. You know, you can add the description to it. However, for those of you who really have a good eye at the moment, you can see that we have a new button here. It's called the test case panel. If you hit that one, the plugin adds basically a section to it, and there you can specifically, sorry for that, describe steps. So let's say if you really like this person who like to enter really detailed steps that you need to perform in order to execute that test case, you can do it here. So we say, okay, I'm creative again, step 1, result run, step 2, result 2, and by just hitting the tab button, you can actually create a new step. Step 3, result 3, and I think you get what I have in mind, right? So you can really add everything here, hit the save button, and now you have a test case, of course, with much better description, more thinking, what you would like to test, and also of course with some of the step definitions or steps that you actually would like to do in the ticket right away. So I think that's pretty cool. And so what else can you do in the test design section here? You already have seen that maybe you can also create folders to combine test cases. So here I created a folder called login, and I put some testing ideas for the test scenarios or test cases that I would like to perform in order for the login case. You can also create a new folder saying, oh, not under this one, but here my test case, this new folder, registration, and then you can write your registration test cases here. Yeah, and with that you can really cluster and group your test cases, maybe depending on your product features, depending on the architecture of the product, and so forth and so forth. So you can really and easy separate and cluster your test cases, which I think is again a good thing, especially if you work collaborative on the test design phase with other people from other countries, from other remote locations, to work all together on your product at the same point in time, which I think is really cool. Yeah, that's basically it about the test design section here. So then, of course, once you have the requirements, you have the test design, we can go into the test execution phase. So we would like to test something, right? So here again, if you go to the test execution phase and you haven't done anything yet, the plugin suggests you to create a new test execution, a new test cycle. And again, I have done it as well, but let's do it now all together. We can say, okay, we would like to have a new test cycle. Test cycle, cycle 4. You can select the version that you would like to test. So in Jira, you can create versions, like the next upcoming release. You give the version 1.0, whatever. I have the really famous version, unversioned. So you click it here, and you just created a test cycle with 0 test cases. Yeah, so now you can create test runs once there. So you click the test runs button, there's a new dialog coming up, and now you can see basically your test cases that you just created. Either the ones that you just created minutes before, or you can jump right into the folders that you created to pick your test cases for that test run, which I think is really handy. So let's say we would like to test two-factor, reset password, failed login, and successful login. And we hit the add button. A couple of seconds later, we have a test cycle with 4 test runs. So either we can execute them one by one, but just saying, okay, start it, or we can just do like this and say run. And then we get into the so-called test pad. And the test pad is basically on the left side here. You have all the test cases that you would like to execute in that test cycle. And then on the main part, you see actually your steps, which I think is really cool. So let's say for the two-factor authentication test, we have the following steps to perform. Step 1, result 1, and so forth and so forth. And actually the thing is that the nice part is here. You can of course type the actual result. All good. In this case, let's write this. All good. And then you can give it a state for passed, failed, blocked, or in progress. So let's say this one is passed, which is good. It automatically saves. But let's assume in the step 2 we find something. We don't understand what the step is all about, so we can just add a comment. I don't get this step. Oops. Hit done, and we have a comment here. So now the one who created it should get an information like, hey, or you do an add mention, for example. Hey, Steve, for example, I don't know what you meant with that test design step. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Or you can add a attachment, which I think is also helpful because maybe you find something that is unknown or unclear for you, or you have a different understanding of it and you would like to document it. And of course, you see the little tiny bug icon here. You can straight and jump and add a defect. So let's do it. We'll say, okay, let's add a new defect here. Oh, I missed to press it. We have the issue type bug associated with it. Bug in 2FR step 2, for example. We hit the create button. And as you can see, we have a linked bug here, a linked defect. We can click again on the button and we see what the bug is all about, which I think is cool. Of course, it's also part of your Jira backlog for product managers to prioritize and maybe to raise discussions about the issue that you've done, and so forth and so forth. And then, of course, you can put it into fail. That's it. And then you hit next, and then you go into the next test cycle, and so forth and so forth. So that's really cool about the test execution and the test cycles that you have. Going back for a second, once you have executed all of them and you see that you can see all of these different statuses, that's what I wanted to say now. You can click on the passed, failed. You can also change it here from passed to failed again, and from unexecuted to blocked, and vice versa. There's also some statistic here. This should also refresh. I guess next time you open it up, let's try it out. Yeah, it is. Yep, there's a little bug. That's not a problem. I think that will be fixed soon. And yeah, with that you have all the test cycles and the test runs that you have in place already. So that's the third section that you have in the plugin. The fourth one is the reporting section. This is also something I really like, because working with many people on a software product, it's usually a collaboration thing, right? You have like different stakeholders. They would like to know more about how the status of the project is. You have test managers who would like to, of course, oversee the overall progress of the sub-projects, and so forth and so forth. And also this is part of the Tricentis test management for Jira plugin. So you can click on the test reports and you get some nice features here. So you see how many test executions you had. You see the execution runs, the abandoned tests, created tests. You can filter by date. You can filter by assignee, of course, and by components, if you have components in place. I don't have any, so bear with me. What else? You have test metrics. You can create test metrics saying with all the test runs that I've done, and you see here who executed what, like who is like the tester with the current executions. You see the different test cycles, how many tests have been passed. So it's more like to get a trend over time, like see, okay, is the software getting more mature? Do we have less issues? And so forth and so forth. So it's really easy to jump right into some numbers and to start discussions and to ask questions in the sub teams if there is an issue or not. So that's cool. As I said, I don't have components, so we would also get some statistics here, and you have the results by the versions. What else? We have the execution progress. Yeah, you see, okay, you see the results over time. Again, progress, the total number of passed, failed statuses, and so forth. And we have also the traceability matrix. We have to again select the cycles, and then you get some overviews of traceability things, like see, okay, for requirements 3, for the login requirements, we have 7 tests, 29 executions, 3 defects. Yeah, so you get an idea what has happened. Again, you see here also again where the bugs are occur, in which section it happens most, and so forth and so forth. And again, you get a really nice overview of the current state of the product. Yeah, and with that, I mean, and that's basically already the plugin, right? It's like really easy and lightweight and super nice to use plugin. I haven't read anything about the documentation. I was just like curious, hit the installation button and tried it out. And for me, of course, I have experience in software testing. It was really self-explanatory, but I think it's the same for you. And a little summary from my point of view is, I think it's really helpful. I mean, for some of you might think, oh, test management, it's outdated. Nobody would like to write test cases, and so forth and so forth. But in the end, you have to document your testing activities in some way, right? Depending on the industry that you're working in, you might have to document it really detailed. And with that, the test management plugin for Jira is really helpful, because you can easily define your test cases with a description, with preconditions, with the exact steps, with the test data, and so forth and so forth. However, what I really like most about the product here is that you can work as a team together in one view. So think of your team, for example, and looking back at my teams that I'm working with, I never had a Jira set up in place where we had really an issue type test case. We had some sort of, but we never allocated all the written test cases to a requirement, and we never had a requirements issue type. We usually had user stories where we had like a section in the description part saying acceptance criteria, or we had sometimes Excel files flying around and attached to the document. But with the plugin, I think it's really nice for team collaboration, because you can sit down together in this section, especially the requirements issue sections, to define together with the team the requirements. Sometimes you can do it with your product manager. Sometimes you do it with your tech lead or with another software engineer, and to talk about what are you going to test and what are really the requirements. And this brings everybody together in one view. That's what I really like about it. Then of course it goes down like the process. We have the test design, execution, reporting feature, which I think is really handy and nifty, because you don't need to have like a second tool that is somewhere living outside of Jira, and you have of course an API to Jira that you can connect, and you can send some data and some hooks you can implement to get some reports and some statuses, or to change statuses in another tool. But with that plugin you have everything in place in Jira, of course if you use Jira. and that's what I really like about it. So in my next project, I would like to suggest that plugin, I mean, and to see it out, how it feels in production, working with many other people on the plugin. So I think it's really helpful, it's beneficial. So if you are running a Jira project and you would like to explore something new, try the plugin out. As I said in the video description down below, I put the link to the marketplace where you can explore the features for free. Of course, they have some pricing structure that you can follow up on, but I think it's worth investing it if it's helpful for you, if you would like to implement it and to use it to have a better overview about your product state and to work in a more collaborative mode all together for quality. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And with that, I hope you really enjoyed the video for today. If so, you know the drill, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I would happy to be there to see you in my subscribers list. And I'm already planning new videos in the next few weeks. Bear with me, I have lots of issues today, not today, but the remaining last weeks and the weeks ahead to cover. So I'm back on track with my video schedule, but it will not be like a video per day, one video per week. But I'll keep you posted on my social media. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. See you and bye bye.